Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire, but it sure doesn't hurt to have plenty of water on hand to help in the cause. Well, that's exactly what our brave men and women of the Newport News Fire Department do each and every day, as they're well equipped and properly trained to battle blazes and save lives, whether on land and yes, right here on the water. As we introduce you to the Marine Incident Response Team that is headquartered at Station Number 1 in downtown Newport News.
The MERT team is the oldest, if not one of the oldest components of the specialty teams in the fire department. And of course it was developed because of marine incidents out here and not having any response on the water. And it's a necessary component to be able to respond to marine incidents, you know, to mitigate anything from shipboard fires right on up to small pleasure boats. So it's a wide variety of responses.
We have a lot of different apparatus here. This is the Dive 1. This truck carries all our dive gear. In this compartment here, this is where we store the lift bags that we use for floating vehicles, or we can lift boats that have sunken with it. We have hose in here. We have some probes that we use for the dive lines. This case here has our underwater metal detector that the divers can use for finding metal objects underwater. This is one of our smaller Zodiacs. We have several of these stored that are available to be deployed throughout the city. This is used for shallow water. It can be used out in the river. It's actually a Navy SEAL boat, and we have these can be used and carried to inland water areas we can't get the big Fireboat in, or Fireboat 21 inshore. Being housed here at Station 1, it affords us an opportunity to reach the water quickly. It's very important that we have all the stuff that we do have and that we use and train on it. But when the rubber meets the road, it's the boats that are on the water that are actually doing the bulk of the work. So it's nice to be able to head out from here and go down and take Fireboat 1 out and actually deal and take calls with a state-of-the-art boat that we do have.
This is where we dive right in for any MERT calls out here on the waters, James River or out there in the Hampton Roads, wherever we're needed. And then today we are training out here different scenarios. If boaters out here and they need some assistance or help, we're out here for them. We do a little bit of everything out here, which in our job it is unique. Yes, we are trained as lifeguards. That's our first step. And then after that, we get trained as boat operators, and then some of us get trained as divers. The divers that we do have are considered rescue divers, and it's a whole different aspect of diving as opposed to a recreational diver. There's lots of other things, search patterns that we utilize to find something fairly quickly, or if it's large, you know, we have different search patterns in order to locate things, whether they're large or small. But yeah, we do have to be aware, and there is definitely a lot of training that's involved in training divers and boat operators here in the city of Newport News.
You always learn something different when you're out here on the water. We have a lot of our senior firefighters that have been divers for many, many years, and they always bring new ideas to the plate and new ways for us to think about for future emergencies that we might run into. Of course, on the water, we also train with the Coast Guard sometimes, and others jurisdictions. So there's never a dull moment when it comes out here.
One of our first initial things we'd like to do for people that are in the water, sometimes they're unable to help themselves. So in this particular case, you'll see today that we'll have a rescue swimmer go in the water to get the person that's in the water to help him get back on board the vessel.
Watch yourself.
And they can't help themselves. All right. Today we're out here doing some training, which is mostly what we do out here. I mean, there are calls that we do get out here that are legitimate, but most of the time when we do come out here, it's for training purposes. We're trying to, hone our skills to get better at what we do, so that when the calls come in, we're prepared to render assistance and help where needed.
Well, I really don't know what's going on with it. We've been having problems, and my buddy here said we should call 911. I mean, nobody's hurt, but yeah, the motor's not running.
You got an anchor? Maybe their anchor broke off. Perhaps their motor just won't start. It's just clicking over and it just needs a little jump. We'd be more than happy to provide them, a little jump start and get them on their way and tell them that, what they need to do to get their boat operating safely.
Yes, sir. You got sea tow coming out to you. They'll be more than happy to tow you in, all right?
We try to practice and train as much as we can on top of our regular firefighter medic duties. We're out here all the time, and most people think, oh, I saw the fireboat out the other day. They're probably just out riding around. We're riding around, but we also have a purpose while we're outside riding around. It's not just to go joyriding and to burn the city's fuel. there's always a purpose every time we go out, whether it's on a call or we're training.
The equipment we have on this boat here is kind of unique. We have a fire pump. We do have a monitor up top here. We have 2 engines. One engine is dedicated to the fire pump when we are pumping water for this monitor here, or the 2 in the back. That's capable of putting out 2,500 GPMs, and you think, but that's a number, but it's actually quite a bit of water that we can put out fires, boat fires in particular, fairly quickly. We can even utilize it if it's close to shore to help put out a structure fire that's close to shore, like a house on the water or something. Again, we've had this vessel now for about 3 years. It's served us well, and it will continue to serve us well in the future. It provides ample resource out here on the water, and it is a proud symbol of Newport News.